interesting guest for the program. Today it's an American, Griffin Morse. He was born in Chicago, and right here in this building was where he first worked in Zaragoza. And we'll talk to him about school year abroad, which was his first place of work in the city. We're going to meet Griffin right here because he enjoys doing sport in Zaragoza. He cycles around the city in the cycling lane, and I think he's coming right along here now to meet us. Hi, Griffin.
Hi, Judith. Good to see you.
Yes.
Beautiful day, huh?
Cycling around Zaragoza here.
Yeah. The Anillo Verde is my favorite place.
Great.
I love going on it.
And I noticed you got this little tape here.
This little thing. Yeah.
What's that?
Well, I don't think anyone can live in Zaragoza without wearing one. So I bet you have one on you someplace.
I usually do somewhere, yeah. And you're going to tell us about it?
Well, it has no major significance other than I had to have a place to put it, and I had my toes operated on it here at Miguel Servet. So after that, I decided to put it there.
Thought there might be a secret behind that one.
My foot's been good ever since.
So, Griffin, why did you want to meet here in the Plaza de Aragón?
Well, since I moved here in 2002, this has really been the center of my life, and I've always called Plaza de Aragón sort of the belt buckle of the city, where everything crisscrosses. But most of all, because we had our school here on the second floor in Planta Principal. School year abroad was there for 13 years. Wonderful years, really. And now we've chosen a new location on Paseo de Pamplona, which I think you'd enjoy seeing as well.
We'll see that later.
We have a terrific cafe over there. I'd love to take you there and show you the neighborhood.
That's great. Let's go. This way?
That'd be great.
When I was just a little girl.
So, Griffin, I think this is really one of the most beautiful parts of Zaragoza, and you've always worked around this area?
Absolutely. This, for school year abroad, is really the crossroads, as I was calling it, the belt buckle of the city. Here you have a spectacular view of the old part of the city, the medical school, Capitania. Really, it's all. When we came, the tram wasn't here, obviously, but Independencia has always been sort of the central artery of the city, and so our students come from all over the city, and they're happy to be here every morning.
Yeah, right in the center
This
of
is a
everything.
great place. And the school is just 50 meters down from here, so really we're in the middle of everything that we'd like to see.
Yeah. We'll head down there and maybe then we'll have that coffee en route.
Sounds great.
Little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said.
It's a nice cup of tea, yeah?
It's very posh, isn't it? See what's in here. So you're going to tell us a little bit about school year abroad and your time here? What
I'd love to. It's a very interesting story. The school began in Barcelona in '64, almost 50 years ago, and it was just for boys back then. It was in Barcelona for 34 years before I came here to Zaragoza. First at the Liceo Europa, and then at the former place I showed you for 13 years at the Plaza de Aragón. We've only recently moved here, but it's worked out really well. One, because the city has a very vibrant student culture. The university is outstanding. We have an excellent staff, and it's well respected back in the United States. So the students we get, they're all Americans, and they all live with separate families here. So we have a lot of familias españolas who treat our children like their own children, you know, as if they were daughters and sons of the house. They go out to the pueblo on the weekends. They enjoy the fiestas de Pilar. They just love being here. And though they travel around the country with our school about 22, 23 days a year, whenever they're on their trips, they get homesick to come back to Zaragoza. So it's really, it's a very welcoming city. I'm certainly going to miss it, but I think what's really important is that this school has found a home here. We've purchased that property that we I guess we're going to visit after this, but you really will You will be amazed. I think you've known some of our students.
Yes, I have.
How
I
well
have.
adjusted and happy they are
Yes,
to be here.
I've seen them
And we've
during the
initiated a
exam
lot.
period.
Right. We've initiated a lot of exchanges with schools around the city, and so our students go into the Spanish school system and get to know the students here, students their age, primero y segundo de bachillerato. So it's well integrated. It's an experience that the students appreciate both as children of a household and students in a school. It's not entirely American because of these exchanges. My own two children, Sophie and Pierre, have enjoyed being part of the school system here, the Molière, the Montessori, and now Sophie's at the University of Navarra studying farmacia.
You're returning to the States and your daughter's staying
Well,
here in
I often
Pamplona?
ask her, I say, Sophie, do you consider yourself more American or French? Because their mother's French. She always says, I feel more Spanish. So she's staying. And Pierre, on the other hand, is very excited to go back to the United States. He's never once been in an American school. So the international community they've learned to be part of makes them feel at the same time European and American. I say European because even Spain has become part of the European market and feels more European, I think, than just Spanish.
Yeah. Do the students find Spanish difficult?
They all have had some level of Spanish before they come, at least 2 years. And so when they get here and they're taking courses like advanced literature, art history, even journalism, they create their own newspaper in Spanish, and they perform stage plays in Spanish. And the textbooks they use are the same that the bachillerato here uses. So they come with a low level, but they leave with a very high level, probably in the United States the equivalent of a second year of college. So it's really interesting, academically speaking. And the Spanish families, on the other hand, are a little confused. They think, well, it's a language institute. And so a lot come knocking at our door asking, could their students take English classes with us? And unfortunately, they can't because we're an American school.
Yeah. So they're just studying Spanish here, or do they do?
It's the equivalent of an 11th or 12th grade year back in the United States. So it's primero o segundo de bachillerato. That small population, about 20% of segundo de bachillerato, go directly to college from here. And we have a college counselor who handles those discussions. And the whole busy process of completing exams and application, it happens here. So it's a little complicated, but our school is designed for those 2 years, and I think we do it well.
Griffin, I know that you're going to be returning to the States quite soon now. It's the end of your time in Zaragoza. And does that feel like going home? Will you be going back to your family?
Well, the concept of home for an American is very itinerant, I think. I'm not alone in that respect. I was born in Chicago, and when we moved here from the States, we were living in Seattle, where several of my family members live. There are 12 of us in all, and I'm the 11th. So I'm used to big crowds and lots of movement, but we had a very nice family settlement there that we had to give up to come here. But when I go back to the United States to work at a new school, it's in New Hampshire, where I have the same amount of family. So imagine we have family in Seattle, about 28 nieces and nephews and 3 of my siblings, and I have the same deal north of Boston. I have about 20, 30 nieces and nephews and 3 siblings, so it's really not very different. It's home wherever we go.
Did you choose that particular place to go, or was it just a coincidence that the new job came up there?
The new job is an exciting one, and really it's a perfect change for me, but it's a big country, and I only looked in 2 places. I looked near family and near family. I looked in the Seattle area and I looked in the Boston area, and this school came up first, and it's an outstanding opportunity.
That's great. Well, we'll talk about that later on, and where you're going to soon.
Well, shall we head on over to see the school?
Let's go and see the school.
Sounds good. Well, before we go, if you wouldn't mind, I'd rather not go on like this. Let me leave the bicycle. I live right over here on Paseo de Pamplona.
Okay.
And I'll show you the way to our old place at Plaza
We'll meet back at the office and you can show us around there.
Sounds great.
Okay, great.
Sorry. Be right back.
Okay. So here we are waiting for Griffin now, who said he was going to take about 8 minutes to get changed. And we're here right in the doorway of where School Year Abroad is presently. And Griffin's going to tell us a little bit more about it now. I think he's actually arriving.
So what do you think?
So
a little
smart.
different, huh?
Very
now
different.
we match.
Okay, now it's
Sorry,
a
I was such a
professional
mess
bit.
this morning.
No worries. So
now you see the view we have from here.
Yeah,
Looking
yeah.
out from our office.
Beautiful, yeah.
They really are spectacular
So
views. It's a great setting.
You just move around the corner.
That's right. We haven't lost a single advantage. We've got everything we had around the corner at Plaza de Aragón. Fancy entrance, our own private entrance, which we share with one other neighbor, and really we couldn't be happier. It's a great location. Why don't you come up and see?
Let's go and
Let
see
me
it.
ring us in.
Okay.
Hey, surround, surround. Whatever will be, the future's not out.
Hello.
Buenos
Good
días,
morning. So here we are
Mar.
in the offices. It's an interesting T-shirt, Griffin. You like T-shirts?
I
don't
love
you?
T-shirts, but this one's special because we got that at a secondhand store in Seattle, Washington, on the other side of the United States.
Amazing.
20 cents.
You
And
didn't
it's-
buy it here in Thurgood?
No,
You bought
somebody
it in
must
America.
have, but we didn't. We didn't. And this same thrift shop comes out in Macklemore's video, which everybody knows on YouTube. So it's a funny memory for all of us, but at the end it's Zaragoza, so we brought it home.
So far away.
Come on, I'll show you the office.
Okay, let's go.
Well, welcome to my office, Judith.
And it's a very beautiful office, Griffin.
I feel very fortunate. This is an historic place. This used to be the room where Banco Vizcaya had its national mortgages signed, and there was a big table here, and when they signed them, they'd come outside afterwards to where these flags are, and they'd hoist up the flag of Aragón and the other of the national flag. So that happened, I don't know how often, but as you can see, the flags could still be there today.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the historic setting, but mostly the view is spectacular and also green with the lawn down below.
Great view, lots of light here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you must really have enjoyed your time here in Zaragoza. You've always felt very welcome in the
I
city.
feel very welcome, and I'm sad to go, but I leave with the same feeling that I came with, and that is that the Zaragozans really don't know what a treasure they have. They're in the middle of Madrid and Barcelona, you know, a short ride to the Pyrenees. It's really been a spectacular place for my family and me, and I know the school is really making the most out of being here, not just at this corner, but being in Zaragoza and in Spain.
Yeah, you must have lots of memories from 12 years in the city. Yeah, are you taking lots of souvenirs with you, lots of presents and things?
Well, certainly from these farewell parties, I've enjoyed a lot of those small gifts. But one of my favorite places was always Muel, because it's easy to get to, and it's its own little charming town. It has a lot of art. And there was a time when I was really interested in doing a project with a ceramic shop there. I'd love to take you there if you'd like to go see it.
We could do that. We could do
That'd
that.
be great.
Yeah.
Let's go take a visit to Muel.
Okay.
And I can show you some of the places that I love so much. It's
That's
just a
fine.
great town.
Okay, will we go in the car?
If you don't mind, I think that would be the easiest.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
They surround, when I was just a child in school, I asked my teacher, what should I try? Should I paint pictures? Should I sing songs? This was for
So this is where the Hermanos Rubio make all the pottery, Griffin. And
I love this place.
how much do you know about this?
Well, I have to say, back in the United States, we have the reputation of being very mass-produced, and the reality is shops like this are disappearing. So when I came to Muel the first time and visited Hermanos Rubio, and I would say 3 or 4 other shops, I was just enthralled. I find the process interesting.
So impressive.
It is very, you know, they begin with the clay from the area, and they press it and they push it out, and it's all handmade. I mean, this is really a process that's dying.
And
But
this is
here in the
actually
town
going
of
to
Muel,
be a vase in a while.
well, it needs to be massaged a little bit, but yeah, they turn the clay into these beautiful pieces of pottery, both on the wheel and sculpted. So what used to be impossible is now done still today by hand, by a family, and by local craftsmen. Wow. So yeah, there are other shops like this, but I have a special affinity for this shop. I would say 8 years ago, I approached them with an idea I had to get the secret out of Muel and start exporting their small vase that has, it's sort of a bowl shape with ear flaps.
Yeah, I know the
And
ones.
yeah, and they're made in France with great national and international acclaim. And I saw these here and I thought there's no reason why Spain couldn't have a similar industry like Compère. So I approached the Hermanos Rubios and we talked about it for a long time, but unfortunately it never happened. So I'm glad to be back here. It's a favorite place of mine, and to see, for example, the wheel where they throw the pottery. Still done by hand, and you know there are pictures of the shop when it was 100 years ago, and the family's still here throwing pots and selling them everywhere.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and this personal attention you see is the personal attention I think that would sell in the market. I mean, these are not mass-produced.
Absolutely.
Everything you see in this room is handmade and hand-thrown.
Just a handicraft.
Yeah. So that's why I like it so much, and it's a real privilege to be back here. I spoke with many members of the family, and they're very good people and good business people.
And I think
it might still happen. I'm leaving, but I know the Hermanos Rubio will be around for a long time.
I think you'll be back.
I think I'll be back too. Yeah. I'll certainly be back.
And of course, this is then painted in blue and white. Those beautiful colors.
Well, when I first started touring, I did ask why everything in the town is blue, and they said, well, the pigments in the soil here produce that blue, sort of gray blue that's unique to the area, and it's sort of a signature of the Muel pottery. Yeah.
Okay, so should we go through and see some of the finished products?
Oh, I think you'd be impressed. I really like them.
Hey, Sarah, Sarah,
So, Griffin, I can tell you've been here before because you know quite a lot about this. You came with the students?
Well, as you can easily imagine, when you come to a place like this and you see all this handmade art, it's something you have to share with students, and they need to see this art is still alive, that all these fine lines, that patchwork, these floral designs, this is all painted by hand. It's not, look at this, it's wallpaper. But when you see this craft that's so fine and hand-signed each time, you have to admire it. And the bowl that I liked most was this one. And I'll tell you, the exact design exists in France, in Brittany, and there they have a simple design here. They don't even have this heavy line work in that design. They certainly have these ear flaps because it's wonderful for all kinds of food. But I always like the exterior lines in the way the pieces are signed. I think that's extraordinary. So my idea was to let the rest of the world know about these great crafts and have the name personalized here as they do in France, where it's a great success.
Yeah. So you already had some of those made?
Well, I've had a few made by commission, but really entering into a big business would take time. It might still happen, but
who knows?
Whenever I come, I keep getting the itch to do so because I see so much beauty in all this. There's even a sense of humor in the artwork, classical designs. It's really very exciting to come here.
Even the tiles up there as well.
Yeah, they're not a shy group of artists. They'll take on any kind of project. And I know they work in collaboration with other places. The center here at the top of the hill in Muel, which is regionally known, is also very good. But I try to bring students here every time I can.
Yeah, to this
the whole town of Muel
family-based
is really
industry.
an art shop, and the students love coming here. They love seeing the people, the Alfaros, working in their shops. And they've been very gracious receiving us. So that's why we like coming to Muel. And I love the artwork. I always leave with a few pieces. In fact, recently we celebrated the opening of a new building, and we asked for special commission work from them. Almost every year we get gifts from other schools that have made here at Hermanos Rubio.
And I imagine there's something from here amongst your leaving presents?
Several pieces, and I'm sure I'll get more on our way out today.
Yeah, they'll be in your limited luggage.
Yep, and they'll be carefully wrapped and protected.
For them.
That's right,
Okay.
that's right.
That's great.
Well, you think we should head back?
Yep. Are we going to head back into Zaragoza now?
Yeah, it's very convenient coming out
Okay.
here, so I'd be happy
Yeah,
to drive you back.
so close.
Unless you want to stay for lunch.
Maybe we can talk about that now.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Griffin.
Alrighty, thank
See
you.
So we're back in Zaragoza now, Griffin, the Plaza de los Sitios. Why did you choose this place?
Well, for me, we've come full circle, not just this morning, but for my family, it's been 12 years focused on this actual plaza. We lived over here on San Clemente for 11 years. Really in uncomfortable moments because we realized the French didn't have a good reputation here, and we're a Franco-American family. So we would watch the enactment here at the Plazas sieges and hear that also by Puerto del Carmen, where we now live, that the French reputation was always in question here. Well, we've never felt anything short of wonderful hospitality here, around the city, and everything we've done. So we're very grateful, and coming back here is nothing but great memories for me. Pierre was just a little 3-year-old playing at this playground, and Sophie was 8. We've enjoyed our time here.
Yeah, because when you first came, Griffin, you weren't actually working in school year abroad. That wasn't really what brought you here initially, was it?
No, in '77 I came to Spain for the first time as a university student. That was a long time ago, and I came already speaking quite a bit of Spanish. So I understood a lot of the early days of democracy and the many demonstrations around Madrid. So coming here to Zaragoza as the new chapter has been wonderful. Much longer than my first stay, which was only 1 year.
Yeah, and now, unfortunately, you're in your final few days in Zaragoza, and you'll be saying goodbye. And what are you planning to take with you? Are you going to be okay on the journey this time, or?
Well, I
What
think
did you tell me about that ham once?
you're winking at a difficult moment at the American customs. One trip I made back to the States, I flew through New York with a pata negra because, you know,
Yeah,
it seemed like a whole pata,
ham. Yeah.
nicely wrapped in a beautiful box. But the agriculture people in New York wanted to see what was inside the box, and they ended up taking my ham. So I went to my friend's house without a nice gift. But
Okay. And they
this time I'm
probably enjoyed it.
Oh, I imagine somebody must have eaten it. So this time I'm just taking a live dog. So that's going to be the risk at customs. But we're taking everything and hoping that we come back soon.
Yeah, I'm sure you will do. And well, thanks for giving us your time this morning. We've been to lots of places, been a very intensive morning, and I know you've only got a short time still to be around here, so it's really good of you to come and talk to us.
Well, I'm happy to have been invited, and you've hosted me on a nice sort of farewell journey back through many great moments and loves that I have for Zaragoza.
That's great, Griffin. Thank you. And thanks to everybody who's come along with us today, been helping all morning, and we'll see you all in the next program. See you soon.